Swift as my feet can carry me.
Aren't you the intrepid little adventurer, digging and diving where you don't belong? The Iron Throne, a ruin from the city's dark past that could become a template for a brighter future. It is the most useful tool for motivating my Gondian workforce, key to the construction of the steel watch that keep the city safe. But like all tools, the moment it ceases to be useful, I will break it. Thanks to your trespassing, that moment may have come. Return to the docks, or the deaths of everyone inside will be on your conscience.
Your mind turns to the Gondian hostages, bound in fear, their futures hanging by a thread in Gortash's web.
Wise. I'll see you soon.
Time to press ahead.
The work is never done.
My faith protects me. Onward, ever onward. Worth a try.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
I warned you to stay away once. I don't do second warnings.
What path lies before me?
I'm ready.
Looking ahead. Moving in.
Ready to do some business? Sure is. We work for Fetcher, handling what you might call pre-owned goods. Talk to Sticky. He'll cut you a deal.
Fetcher isn't himself, so I'm running the shop. You buying or selling? Don't be shy. Attention! Sometimes stuff we sell comes back around to us again. So watch yourself. Got me? See anything you like? Let's talk price. See anything of yours? No, you didn't.
Don't mind the lady's court. Just a game we play. Figuring how we'll kill you if you cross 9 fingers.
Let's talk price. See anything?
What are you having? Around here, silence is golden, mate. Best remember that. Now, what can I get you?
beverages of distinction, or in some cases, extinction, if you ain't careful. How you feeling today? Lucky?
Come on, let's go.
Not everyone subscribes to what is mine.
The Stone Lord plans to rob the counting house, and 9 Fingers means to trap him there.
Keep the Harper out of trouble. Beyond that, be welcome. Be merry. Is this... Knowing what I know usually comes at a cost. But let's say we'll... Ha! Which part? The Stone Lords hollowed this place out. Half my crews are fled or in hiding. You've dealt with Orin, but Gortash still clutters my streets with his toy soldiers. When the Absolute's army arrives to wage war on the city, our best hope is to make sure they have no leaders in here willing to open the gates for them. We don't. The Zentarim work for me. Time was I'd charge the bastards double if I let them into my hall at all, but times change. The Guild is many things, but it's not an army. If the Absolute keeps pushing in on our territory, then I need a little weight to push back. Thieves, frauds, and miscreants. If it's just the watch warrants you're reading. The Guild isn't any one thing. We're everything. All the parts of the city the Watch don't want seen, so they push us to the far side of their law. But it's not the Watch that keeps the peace, or gives justice to any Baldurian who asks, whether they can pay for it or not. It's us. If we take a little tribute in return, or tie strings of service to those we help, well, what of it? So long as we're working as one, it all runs quick, quiet, and clean. Clean water, filthy riches, and everything in between. We're citizens of the city. No more, no less. Right now, I'll settle for taking our city back. Keep me from having to kill the Harper. Which means keeping out of the Guild's way, all right? Wonderful.
I have nothing to say to you, defy.
There she stands, just as Elminster promised. Mystra, goddess of the weave, mother of all magic.
The old man wasn't lying. She's opened the summoning channel. Can't you feel it?
Gale's right. The very air around the statue crackles with magic. It sets your teeth on edge.
A stream of pure, undiluted weave. I only have to reach out, and it will carry me to Mystra, wherever she may be.
Well? Are you composing a poem in your head or some such?
Time was, I'd have given my right arm for a chance to speak with Mystra again. The left one, too. Maybe a knee. Am I? You're right. I am a strong, capable wizard. And this is no more than a casual reunion with an ex-lover. My omnipotent, omniscient ex-lover. I always wonder what being nervous would feel like. I hate it. You're kind to say so, but this is hardly my first time in Mystra's presence. It's more the matter of what I'm going to say to her. During my time locked away in Waterdeep, I prepared a quite comprehensive speech for her on the subject of our former relationship and the manner in which it ended. Alas, recent events have rendered the majority of it moot, so I'm gonna have to improvise. Unless you have any words of wisdom to impart before I go. The summoning channel Mystra has provided is one only I can enter. No matter how much I prefer not to face her alone. You'd make a fine 3-dragon anti-player, you know? I think it's best I keep a cool head going into this. Approach it like a particularly high-risk round of 3-dragon anti. I'll let Mystra show her flight, and then I can see how strong a chance we stand of winning the gambit. I'll only be gone for a matter of moments. The Outer Planes experience time quite differently to our own. Wait for me. Please.
Gale of Waterdeep, you look well.
As do you. But I assume we're not here solely to exchange compliments. So why am I here?
You discovered what lies at the heart of the Absolute, the crown of Karsus. And you disobeyed my instruction. Why?
Because you had no right to ask that of me. You cast me out. Remember?
You were my lover, my chosen. Yet still you know so little of me. The past cannot be undone with self-pity, nor can a future be forged. Only with the truth will you see the way ahead. The fragment of magic you tried to return to me was not of my creation. It was the Karsite weave. It is a corrupted, half-born magic, wrought in the brief moment Karsus ascended to godhood. It hungers for power, just as he did, and it can never be sated. You unleashed something that would consume all magic in existence, and yet you thought only of preserving yourself.
So that's what you're scared of. With the crown of Karsus reforged, I could take control of the Karsite weave.
You can no more control the Karsite weave than a weather vane could control a storm. That it entered your body and consumed no more than your powers was a miracle. But we will not be granted another. The only reason the orb sleeps is because I have allowed it to feed on the true weave. A temporary measure, but one that will not be enough to save us. With each day that passes, the Elder Brain threatens to become a new kind of god. Its worshippers, a scourge of soulless illithids. If you will not use the orb to end this abomination, then you must find a way to separate crown and host. When you've done this, you must surrender the crown of Karsus to me.
A great ask indeed. You've given me much to think on, as you always did.
So be it. Follow the needle of your own wisdom. We shall see how truly it leads you.
Mortal soil once more. I can't believe I saw her. After all this time. And what you felt was but the slightest drop, drawn from the rushing torrent that is the weave. I confess, without my former prowess, even I struggle to stand her presence. The effects on the mortal body of such unfettered magical exposure cannot be overestimated. She held back in order to protect us, to make sure I heard her. The Karsite weave, within me this whole time. I knew the orb was no ordinary ball of magic before it to be Karsus's malignant creation. Gods! How did I not see that? But I should have known. What right had I to go about declaring myself an archmage when I was as foolish as a common apprentice in setting such an entity loose? At least now I'm armed with the truth. And Mistra's expectations. Sounds like the door to redemption is open at last. All I have to do is walk through it, carrying the crown of Karsus. Perhaps I see few other options open to me. If I ever want to reclaim those parts of myself the orb snatched away. If I ever want to be me again. I'll have to disagree with you there. Having not one, but two parasitic entities within your body does very little for one's faith in one's personality. Still, I should take the compliment with the same generosity it was given, so thank you. If I could promise you one thing in return for your faith in me, it's this. I will use everything in my power to ensure we defeat this evil. I will not let you down.
considering. It's precisely in time.
Evaluation is harmless.
Find yourself a stage, why don't you?
Do you hear those noises coming out the old bright place?
Take your time down there.
You know.
Take your pick. Well,
Want a nip?
if I must.
Quietly out the front door.
And some will go out with a splash pad as well.
That's what they tell me. But we'll save it for later.
Just breathe. Breathe.
Mum used to tell me about Minsker Ratterman. Now I've got a story.
Well, my prayers weren't much bloody use.
Mimic teeth out of my clothes for a 10-day.
Maybe Nina still needs a cracked skull. Best drama working in a bloody festol.
Hells! If I'd have known there was that much coin back here, I'd have robbed the place myself.
What the hell's? It's all funny money in the end, anyway.
Bloody better not be coming out of my wages.
Mum used to tell me about Minsker Ratterman. Now I've got a story for her.
These ledgers are never going to balance. I'm a dead man.
Teeth out of my clothes for a 10-day.
Just breathe. Breathe. And switch bloody jobs.
That old elf took 2 guards by herself. And she wasn't even scratched. Mum used to tell me
Maybe Nina still needs a cracked skull. That's drama working in a bloody festival.
For a 10-day.
Going back here, I'd have robbed the place myself.
Bloody better not be costing my wages.
So me? The absolute. Maybe there's something to this club.
Tell me about Midsummer Ratterman. Now I've got a story for her. I'll be picking mimic teeth out of my clothes for a 10-day.
Let's get on with it.
Take two.
Breathe. Breathe. And switch bloody jobs.
Yes? What's the story?
All right, what now?
Mum used to tell me about Midsummer
Maybe Nina still
Ratterman.
needs a cracked skull.
Now I've got a
Less drama working in a bloody festival.
Don't waste a step.
counting house guard is very unhappy about you messing with forbidden items. It seems you've made a rather...
Frustrating?
Nothing more valuable.
What?
You've been caught lurking around the Sword Coast's most secure bank without permission. The guards are understandably upset. No need for...
Hey, good looking.
Bloody better not be coming out.
Never a dull moment. I've got a long road ahead.
Can't afford to stay idle.
Take your I'll be picking mimic teeth out of my clothes.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Just breathe. Breathe. And switch bloody job.
Should mind my step.
Mystra has forsaken Gale entirely. A crushing blow. But he is strong enough to persevere, I think. Fine. What's on your mind? You're someone I can actually turn to when I don't know what to do.
Far from me to judge Gale for playing coy with Mystra, but I will not be cleaning up whatever mess she makes of him for it.
This crown seems too powerful and dangerous an object for mere mortals to possess. Too dangerous even for Mystra. But I would sooner trust it with a god than with Gale.
It is splendid to see you again, my friend. If you hadn't saved me from that mob, I'd be penning a guide to the afterlife based on first-hand experience. Perhaps you would hazard a guess as to why the mob turned on me?
Baldur's fate now turns upon the whims of
Nonsense! It is my dedication to truth that endangers my well-being, and I have uncovered the most startling truth imaginable. The Lord of Murder has returned. As he did 100 years ago, Baal has set his accursed sights on Baldur's Gate. And his temple runs red with the blood of the innocent. Oren is his chosen. And like Sarevok before her, she is able to take on the savage form of the Slayer. If the Slayer is not stopped, it will slaughter every living thing in this city. As one of those things, I'm particularly eager to stop it. And there is a way. I have a study of the beast, penned by the wizard Irenicus himself. It contains all of the knowledge needed to slay the Slayer. Now I just need a brave adventurer, willing to face Baal's chosen, and to put the knowledge into practice. You triumphed over Baal's chosen? Marvelous! Such a historic deed must be documented in every gory detail. You and I shall pen the book of your experiences together. But I suppose you'll have to deal with the Illithids first. Please do tell me when you've thwarted every apocalypse that's currently in motion.
I do not trust Mystra to do right with the crown, but I think I trust Gale even less. He must give it to her when the time comes, or his lust for power might well consume him.
Wow. So that was Mystra. Pretty spectacular stuff. But I think Gale was right not to agree to do her bidding, no questions asked. I respect the gods, but they don't always understand what they're asking of us. Maybe immortality makes it hard to know what it's like to be one of us piggies. Proud of Gale, though. It takes some man to hold his own in front of the divine.
What's on your mind?
So, Gale's hedging his bets with Mystra? I can't say I blame him. Who'd want to hold a power like the crown of Karsus in their hands just to hand it to someone else? I know what my decision would be, but we're all different, of course.
Whatever happens next, be sure that I will document it all as accurately as possible.
Could go for a good meal.
Let's get going.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
I don't know. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
My friend, from our brief sharing of skulls, I know you have faced many strange beings, but none like this. Whatever happens, show no fear and stay your hand. Trust in Minsk. Minsk finds that the less thinking he does, the easier the trusting comes. Wait! You gaze into Minsk's soul and see his foul crimes. You smell the stench of evil upon him, pointy claws primed, ready to scratch out his eyes. I am sorry, my friend. I am at the mercy of your faultless justice. Now, if you must burrow through my blackened heart, I am ready. No? You are certain? Oh, such boundless compassion. You are all heart, and whiskers, and cute little nose. You are right, of course. There is still much evil for Boo and Minsk to stamp out. But we need not fight it alone. I have a new face to show you. But it is not a villainous one for the clawing, understand? This is Boo. And Boo, meet you? No, it is a hamster. A miniature giant space hamster. Fear not, you will learn the difference in time. Those villains locked Boo away, lest his righteous gaze cause their tadpole to flee in terror. Now we are together again. All will be exactly as... Boo, why do you use such language? Once more, my hamster proves himself my greater half, and makes the path clear when my mind is fuzzier than his tiny bottom. He says we will join with you, and cleanse Baldur's gate of evil. Together! You have a great many companions already. There is no room for little Boo, or slightly larger Minsk. Boo and I are most adept in the doing of things, but as you wish. To camp then! For his heroics here today, Boo has earned the most vigorous of back scratchings.
Breathe. Breathe. Switch bloody jobs.
That old two guards by herself.
I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad to have some company on this journey. Fine. What's on your mind? If you're sure. Fine. I'll be here whenever you rediscover your taste in company.
Another ball spawn buried by our hand. Ball should learn better than to send his offspring against us. They might as well be babes, dropped bare bottom into the Rashomon winter. Boo is overjoyed with our victory. Another den of evil vanquished, and an old foe defeated. Well, Viconio was a friend for a short time beforehand, but then a foe once more. Yes, Boo, a most wicked witch. The very mention of her name gives him nightmares to this day. Boo and Minsk have traveled far and wide, and met many fine and not so fine people. It will surprise you to learn that even the wisest of friends do not always recognize Boo for what he is. Exactly! The Drow was a cruel witch, but a clever one. She knew what Boo was right away, and she had never seen his like before. She wished to inspect his handsome magnificence, and so she did. One night, while he lay asleep, twitching his whiskers in happy dreams, she crept upon his tiny bedroll holding a knife as slim as a toothpick. She meant to spill his miniature guts and study them. I did not get the chance. Boo never sleeps deeply while evil is near. He sprang into action and almost blinded the witch. She had fled from her camp by morning, when Boo told me the whole tale over a breakfast of berries and nuts. Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Boo is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsk? So dark an alliance sealed with Zentish contracts, cultish vows, and a dragon's shining horde. You think Minsk could forget? You are correct. I have no idea what any of that was about. But we shall simply... Boo! Why do you gnaw at my soft parts? I am trying to... Once again, in smaller words? I see. This truth you seek. Boo believes that Minsk is knowing more than Minsk knows. But it is a difficult thing. There are memories of this time that Minsk does not remember. And Boo suggests that, just as he helps with tricksome itches in awkward places, you must reach what Minsk cannot. The parasite. You can use it to tickle free whatever truth you seek. The worm has already whipped me around the city like a slack-backed pony. I have no wish to saddle myself a second time. But If it cannot be Boo who pops inside my skull for a rummage, then I trust you. Or Jahira, but she is currently possessed of an empty head.
At first, there is nothing. His mind is empty as a still expanse of open country. But then... Your face, the Stone Lord's face, mirrored in bloodied steel. In the heat of burning buildings, you hold your blade high above pale, frightened faces.
No, that is not right. I slew only monsters. The voice said that they were monsters.
A whisper. The Absolute's voice, twisting the petty guild thieves before you into snarling, savage beasts, feeding on the weak of your city.
The guild. The Stone Lord hunted them, peeled away their rotten ranks one by one to lay bare their corrupt heart. 9 fingers keen. That is what the Absolute bought Black Zentis Steel to do. To kill the Guildmaster. What does it matter? Cultish thinking has occupied Minsk's mind for long enough. Now is time for doing. And this talk of evil overthrowing evil, pah! Like a many-headed hydra biting at its own throat. Bring forth the hydra, says Boo. More faces for the punching. First we pop the Zentarim plot, then we show 9 fingers, the 5 fingers of Minsk. Yes? It is only justice, then, that we put a boot upon hers. Make sure you are refreshed before we set out again, friend. The road to justice is paved with kicked buttocks. Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Then you have a sword at your side and a hamster at hand, whenever you need them. Unless I die, or you die, or you do anything at all to upset Boo. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough? Can you not? Do you not see his noble bearing? The deep wells of wisdom that are his eyes? Boo speaks of much. Perhaps one day, you will be ready to listen. There is nothing jestful in the bond between a ranger and his companion. Before Boo, I was a typical berserker of Rashomon. Duty-bound and full of my own seriousness. The problem with one so gazing of their navel, however, they are easily ambushed. Brigands split my skull like a sodden wineskin. It was as I recovered that Boo first appeared. He told me that I had felt the great poking finger of justice, marking Minsk as its champion and Boo as my guide. As for the headache, well, justice cannot always afford to be gentle. Do not be ridiculous. If any of us is chosen by the gods, it is obviously Boo. Now, shall we away? My boots crave the crunch of unvirtuous nethers. There is more than a little to know, I think. I am huge. Well, Boo, clear enough? Boo has a way with words that we lack. All that space in the cheeks, I am thinking. Ah, you speak of Minsk's misshapen skull? It is true. I once suffered a most heroic head wound. Before Boo, I was a typical berserker of Rashomon. Duty-bound and full of my own seriousness. The problem with one so gazing of their navel, however, they are easily ambushed. Brigands split my skull like a sodden wineskin. It was as I recovered that Boo first appeared. He told me that I had felt the great poking finger of justice, marking Minsk as its champion and Boo as my guide. As for the headache, well, justice cannot always afford to be gentle. Really? Boo, I think our friend has suffered a head wound of his own. Now, shall we away? My boots crave the crunch of unvirtuous nethers. Well, the mind of Minsk is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface, a lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsk, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsk you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice laced, in the Rashomon style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting britches, too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsk. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots. Well, as have you, no? Do not forget that when you gaze into Minsk, Minsk also gazes into you. We both fight evil, wherever it is found. The who and where are less important than the hamsters you meet along the way. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's worms. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no? Is it power? True, it has made Minsk strong. Boo can scarcely get comfortable, so firm has my physique grown. But what does the parasite take in return? It is a horror wrapped in honey. Stay your sweet tooth, says Boo. As you wish, but quietly. It is listening. No! There is a very ancient and very wise saying that Minsk lives by. He who would try to control evil must beware lest evil tricks him, steals his clothes, and kicks his backside with his own boots. I read it on the privy wall in the Blushing Mermaid many years ago. Minsk knows all about this Emperor. It has tried to introduce itself to me already. Minsk does not trust it. No, I do not think our new friend wishes to see me blubbering, Boo. Minsk is normally the strong and violent type, but if you insist on hearing a sad tale, he can tell it. This Emperor played a very cruel trick. It made me believe that something lost had been found. It came to me in dreams, wearing a face I never thought to see again. Dinah here. A witch of my homeland. She was to be the greatest of them, and I her protector. It was not easy. She was a fierce and independent cub. She did not think she needed Mother Bear Minsk to protect her. And she was right. The elders sent us out into the world, thinking it would teach her to bow a little. But it was the world that bowed to Dinah here, wherever she went. And Minsk blundered along behind. And in the end, it was she who died, protecting me. No, my friend. It is not the past I saw, but Dinah here as she would have been. Should have been. Hearing her voice again. For a moment, Minsk almost believed it. But then, the Emperor made a mistake. It did the one thing that Dinah here would never, ever do. It told Minsk exactly what he wanted to hear. Dinah here. Hers was more the habit of teaching Minsk many new ways to say the word fool. I think on what she would say to Minsk now, cowering from a creature in his own skull. Fine. If you say this tadpole is a weapon, then let us wield it. So long as it is still our hearts that guide us, yes? Or better yet, my hamster. A little rest to brush the road from Boo's fur, and then back to our adventuring. Minsk shall be your shadow, as Boo is his. Sleep with one eye open, Evil. Maybe both.
Let us show them how it's done. Let's see.
Sing the song of Baldur, who founded Baldur's Gate. Empire golden, built on trade, could not avert his fate. When three dead assailed his port, transformed he fell there thrall. Succumbed best from
Still alive. So that's progress.
Where Boo leads, Minsk follows.
Now hope is gone, or so it seems, but game's not